Kyle Richards sheds new light on seeing Mauricio with that woman. Call it a woman's intuition, but Kyle Richards knew something was up regarding her estranged husband and his romantic interest, even before news got back to her. On Season 14, Episode 16 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Aftershow, the ladies discussed newcomer Bozoma St. John's reporting a red-hot piece of information to Kyle, a move that divided the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills ladies. Bozoma stood by her decision to call Kyle after seeing Mauricio Umansky with the woman he kissed at an airport in Greece on a double date at a restaurant, all as Kyle and Mauricio's separation continues. I get seated at the table. I see Mao sitting directly across from me, maybe 10 feet away, Bozoma told Dorit Kemsley, adding that her first instinct was to tell Kyle. Bozoma texted Kyle from the scene, followed by a 3+ minute voice note containing a full report, but immediately she knew, Bozoma claimed. Kyle Richards on Mauricio being seen with another woman. I don't know why, but I immediately knew Bozoma was out and saw Mao with a woman, Kyle said, and I knew it was that woman. Bozoma told Aftershow producers that the agency founder appeared a little on edge, though he and the new woman were clearly on a double date. She said Mauricio, sitting in the center of the restaurant, didn't seem entirely comfortable to be in public. And while he wasn't necessarily overly affectionate with his alleged companion, it was evident they came together. I even guessed who the other people were at the table, Kyle continued. I don't know. You know, sometimes women, we're very intuitive. What can I say? Bozoma St. John explains why she told Kyle Richards. I was not in the inner circle with Kyle to understand whether or not this was appropriate or not, Bozoma said. It doesn't matter whether or not we are on good terms or not. Like when something is happening to you, and it is outside of this group, whoever's on the outside, I'm coming for them, and that's how I felt about Ma in that moment. However, not everyone agreed with Bozoma's decision to fill Kyle in on what she witnessed. Sitting with Garcelle Bavas and Jennifer Tilly, Sutton Strack wondered aloud if it was a way to hurt Kyle, guised as trying to be a good friend. Talk about weaponizing, she remarked. That was weaponizing. Sutton further questioned whether Dorit put Boz up to it. Conversely, Dorit said it was just Bozoma doing the right thing. This is the definition of a girl's girl, Dorit said. She's not even friends with Kyle. Meanwhile, Erica Jane would have erred on the side of caution. I don't even know if I would have said anything, the XX Ive singer confessed. Knowing how much this separation with Mauricio has hurt Kyle, I probably wouldn't have given the details. But Sutton said she was on the phone with Kyle when Bozoma sent the message, which left the Richards sister really hurt. Kyle said otherwise. I was happy that Boz reached out and told me, Kyle said. I really was like, oh, she really is a girl's girl, a friend, not just that she told me, but in the way she told me. She knew what I wanted to hear. She's a woman. She gets it. Kyle wanted to know all the details without one little teensy-weensy crumb overlooked. Bozoma maintained she would have wanted anyone else to do the same for her. Intuition never lies. Kyle Richards sheds new light on Mauricio and that woman. The knowing, the hush of evening had settled over Beverly Hills like a velvet curtain, soft and full of secrets. Kyle Richards stood on the balcony of her Encino home, staring at the city lights as they blinked like coded messages in the night. Inside, the echoes of an earlier conversation buzzed in her head. Bozoma St. John's voice, steady and deliberate, had replayed itself countless times in her memory. But even before the message came, Kyle had known. Call it a woman's intuition. Call it psychic residue from years of loving someone too long, too hard, too deeply. She'd always known that this moment would arrive. That one day, the feeling in her gut would turn into truth. I don't know why, she whispered to the wind, but I just knew it was her. The message it had started as an innocent dinner out, Bozoma St. John had settled into her seat at a trendy Mediterranean restaurant, nestled in a corner of Mykonos, the kind of place where candlelight melted time and the food made even broken hearts pause. But then she looked up. 10 feet away, directly across the restaurant, Mauricio. Kyle's Mauricio, or no longer hers. He looked good, too good, like he was trying to act like the man who wasn't coming undone at the seams. But Bozoma noticed something off immediately, a stiffness, an alertness in his posture, like he was ready to jump up and bolt if someone spotted him. And then there was her, that woman, the same one the press had whispered about, the one Kyle had suspected without a name or a photo. The same one Kyle had seen in flashes, in dreams, in moments when her heart seized and her breath stuttered. Bozoma didn't hesitate. She texted Kyle, then sent a voice note, 3 minutes and 27 seconds long. The fallout Kyle was at home when it came through. Her phone lit up next to her, an alert buzzing against the marble countertop. At that moment, she was laughing at something her daughter Portia said, the kind of laugh that's too high, too forced, too much a performance for someone trying to be Oak. Then the name flashed across the screen. Bozoma St. John, voice note. She didn't question why, she just knew. And when she pressed play, the world narrowed. It folded inward. The woman in Greece, Bozoma's voice was calm, almost too calm. The kind of calm that people use when they know their words might become grenades. Hey Kyle, I'm here at a restaurant in Mykonos. And Mouse here, he's on a double date. The breath caught in Kyle's throat. Bozoma kept talking, laying out every detail, where they were sitting, how Mauricio barely looked at ease, how the woman beside him kept leaning in, smiling like she knew something the rest of the world didn't. Kyle didn't need to ask who. She had already seen her in the background of a blurry Instagram post 3 months ago. The woman in the periphery, always in the background, until now. Until she wasn't. The sisterhood divide. Back in Beverly Hills, the fallout began. Some of the women rallied. Dorrit stood by Bozoma's decision. This is what a real woman does, she told the cameras. Even if you're not best friends, when you see something, you say something. But Sutton wasn't convinced. She weaponized it. Sutton hissed to Garcelle and Jennifer over wine and soft jazz. It wasn't about helping Kyle, it was about stirring the pot. Jennifer Tilly, all theatrical in her reaction, nodded in agreement. Bozoma made herself the messenger and the moment. It was very narrative forward, let's say. But Kyle didn't see it that way. I was grateful, she said later. Genuinely, it wasn't just what she said, it was how she said it. She knew what I needed to hear. Fractures, Mauricio hadn't reached out yet. Not with an explanation, not with an apology, not with anything resembling the man Kyle had married 3 decades ago. But Kyle didn't expect him to. Somewhere deep inside her, the version of Mauricio she had built her world around had already faded. The real man was out there, sipping wine with someone else, pretending he wasn't unraveling. She sat in the garden with her sister Kathy the night after the voice note. They didn't speak for the first 10 minutes, just sat in silence. Finally, Kathy turned to her. You already knew, didn't you? Kyle didn't answer. Her silence said enough. Girl code. Bozoma stood by her decision. I don't care if I was in the inner circle or not, she told the Aftershow cameras. When something is that big, when someone's heart is that exposed, you step in. It's not about alliances. It's about humanity. The divide among the women deepened. Erica Jane, ever the wild card, admitted she might have stayed silent. Kyle's already so fragile, she said. I don't know if I'd have given her the visuals. But Kyle disagreed, loudly, proudly. I needed every crumb, every teensy-weensy crumb. I wanted the whole damn cake. The mirror. Later that week, Kyle stood before the antique mirror in her bedroom. The one Mauricio had bought her for their 15th anniversary. Italian, hand-carved, romantic once. She stared at her reflection and saw someone new. Not broken. Rebuilding. A woman who had been right all along. This wasn't just a betrayal. It wasn't just infidelity. It was a confirmation of something she had already grieved. The end wasn't sudden. It had come in stages, late nights, missing texts, that growing emotional canyon between them. The woman in Greece was just the final page. Bozoma and the beach. A week later, Kyle met Bozoma in Malibu. The sun had started to dip behind the waves, and the beach was almost deserted. They didn't hug at first, just looked at each other. Then Kyle smiled. "You knew I'd want to know." Bozoma nodded. "I would have wanted the same." They walked along the shoreline, barefoot, saying little. But when Kyle finally spoke, her voice was raw and honest. "He's been gone for a while now. I just didn't want to say it out loud." "You did now," Bozoma replied, "and somehow that helped. Closure or something like it." The tabloids would spin the story a dozen different ways. Bozoma blows up Mauricio's cover. RWBH stars clash over betrayal bomb.